Great. Welcome to our Getting to Know UVic Tools and Technology session, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Olivia. I'm one of the Senior International Student Advisors at the International Center for Students. I am also joined by Ricky, one of the wonderful student staff who will be supporting with the chat and some background technology today, and Alex and Kelly, our lovely facilitators of this session today. And let's start this session in a good way by acknowledging with respect the Algonquins, Sahis, and Esquimalt peoples on whose territory the university stands, and the Algonquin and Wasanic peoples whose historical relationships with the land continue to this day. You'll hear this territory or land acknowledgement at the start of meetings and events in Canada to recognize the land we are currently on and to honor the Indigenous peoples who have relationships to this land. And you can learn more about the territory acknowledgement at UVic on the UVic Territory Acknowledgement webpage. And this Getting to Know UVic Tools and Technology session is being offered as part of our International Student Orientation programs. And between August 19th and August 23rd, the International Center for Students and campus partners offer online sessions to introduce you to services being offered to students and provide opportunities to connect and learn about the resources available to you. And from August 27th to September 1st, there will be many in-person programs for you to attend. We hope that you will join us. And during this week, you will get a chance to meet our team, get connected on campus, and make new friends at events such as beach socials, board games, and hikes. And don't miss our all-day international welcome event on Thursday, August 29th. And you can register for all the events using the registration forms hyperlinked in the online schedule, which Ricky will put the link for into the chat. And if you haven't yet submitted your photo for your WAN card, please do so on the website being shared in the chat. You will need your WAN card to check in at the International Student Welcome event on Thursday, August 29th. So please submit your photo by August 23rd so that it can be processed in time. And this card is your official UVic student ID and campus debit card. It also gives you access to some great student discounts. And if you have any questions for me during the session, I'll be staying in the background. And for now, I will just hand it off to my wonderful colleague, Kelly, to start us off with today's session.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Olivia. And hi, everyone. Welcome. Yeah, as Olivia mentioned, this session is really to help introduce you to some of the technologies that you will use during your time at UVic, and also where you can go for help for these technologies. So Alex and I are going to cover a whole bunch of things, and really kind of the goal is to give you that introduction, but also let you know that there is additional support if you need it, and if you do encounter any issues or challenges, where you can go for that support. I just wanted to kind of echo in Olivia's land acknowledgement. I have been on the lands of the Lekwungen peoples on whose traditional territory UVic stands since 2012 when I first came to UVic as a student. And I have really been at UVic and on these lands the entire time. I grew up on Secwepemc territory in the interior of BC. And one thing I really value about UVic is the recognition of the people who were here long before UVic was. So my name is Kelly Diether. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the team lead digital community for UVic's IT department. And so what that means is I work on a lot of training initiatives and projects, and then also support and lead the co-op students who we employ at the UVic Computer Help Desk. And so you'll hear the help desk come up through this session, and they're really your first point of contact, or the people who you will go to if you experience any issue with technology during your time at UVic. So this might be, connecting your device to Wi-Fi, to UVic Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi, issues with your email or account, and any issues with Brightspace too, which Alex will jump into. We work very closely with Alex here, Alex's team who support your learning technologies at UVic. So without further ado, I'm going to pass you over to my colleague Alex for a bit of introduction and to go over the first part of our session.
Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, so my name's Alex Warrington. I am the manager of educational technology support over in curriculum teaching and innovation in LTSI. I too just want to acknowledge the lands that we're on today. I grew up in the Okanagan and Okanagan's Silex territory. And so I'm always happy to be able to live, love, learn, play on these wonderful territories here in the Okanagan speaking peoples. So thanks for having me today. I'm going to run you over some really basic stuff in our learning technology ecosystem. To do that, I'm going to share my screen and walk you through my version of Brightspace, which will look very similar to your version. But this account also has some teaching role stuff in it. So I will do my best to go through and kind of show you what it all looks like. We'll talk a little bit about Echo and Zoom, and by all means, this is not exhaustive, but hopefully this gives you some basic idea of what we are doing here. So I think everyone should be able to see my screen now. This is the Brightspace landing page. When you log into UVic systems, it is a single sign-on, so it will go automatically through. So if you go to bright.uvic.ca and for the first time, it will ask you to put in your sign-on. Kelly will go over some of that a little bit later. But if you go and navigate to uvic.ca and log in there and then go to Brightspace, it doesn't matter. You just need to log in once, which is really nice across all of our technologies. And go through. So you will land in a wonderful little page like this. You will find all of your courses in this little widget here. You can sort for various things. So you can actually pin courses. If there are particular courses that you would like to pin or not, you just hover over them and there's a little wonderful pin icon. You can sort by semester or supports, that kind of thing. So there are various ways to go through. So if you're not finding your course, I would recommend doing potentially all and take a look there. Or you can also find your courses up here through what they call like the little waffle. And you can see I have access to a lot of different courses. You will have less courses. If you, at the end of your UVic career, have a lot, you can actually just search for things in here too. And then it will kind of auto sort for you based off of what you put in and find the course that you are looking for in particular. A couple of different things along here. These are Discover courses on this tab. In particular, there's one I want to point out to you because we're doing just a very quick overview of a lot of different things. There are some courses that you can go into and take a look at. There are two of them. So one of them is your UVic Learning Technologies course. When you click on it, there'll be like a little enroll in course. And then from there, there'll be an open course. We'll jump back in there in a second. The other one that I want to point out is our Integrity in Practice course. There are two major modules in here around contract cheating, but also around academic integrity. And we are recommending that all students go through and take a look at these courses. There's some great tips and tricks to make sure that you are not unintentionally doing something that goes against policy or around plagiarism, that kind of stuff. So they're kind of two great courses. There are also other courses that are here available. Some of them are available to you, some of them are only available to staff. But this is kind of open public courses if you want under the Discover tab. There are also some UVic resources under here. In particular, Learn Anywhere is a really good one for you, as well as some academic accommodations and academic integrity. So you can click on those links and they'll take you to various other websites at the university. Along the top here, there are a few different things that you will see. This is kind of our instant messaging or email within Brightspace itself. There are subscription, and then there are alerts. Alerts will tell you if things are updated in your courses. And what notifications you get are based off of kind of your ability to go through and set up yourself. So if I go to notifications here, you can see that your preferred email will automatically get sent in here. And then you can kind of change when are you going to get notified of things. So if you want it to email to you, you can do a daily email or a weekly email. If you do that, you can tell what time it is and what day that you would like it at. And then instant notifications, which do end up in that wonderful little bell up here, you can kind of change and customize what you want around with it. So it will update you around some stuff, but you can also have it email you a variety of things. So this is a really easy way to stay on top of stuff that you're looking for. So if you're concerned about grades or an assignment coming out or being notified when things are almost due or an end date is coming up, you can really kind of filter them based off of what you're looking for within your course. A couple of other things that are within here. Under profile, you can update and change a picture and give a little bit around yourself, but more importantly, under account settings, you can update your pronouns if you like. You can change your font settings to make things larger or smaller. You can kind of change the way a few of the defaults come up. Unfortunately, our languages and locales are very limited. We have kind of three. We have French, Canadian, and English Canadian and English United States. But there's also kind of some clock and default time zones. So if you are not actually here in Victoria, although I think all of you are, you can kind of update those to reflect your home area. You can also change your discussions the way that they're shown, and we'll look at discuss a little bit, as well as some email functionality around that. So what your signature looks like and kind of send some, it's really basic stuff in there. Go through. There's also a progress tab that should pull in kind of all of your different courses and what you've completed within those courses. You will also have this feature within each individual course. But again, if you feel like you're missing something or you're not up to date on something, this is kind of a nice little way to find out if there's stuff that you're missing, if you've seen all of the content within a course, if you're kind of following through. So it gives you a nice, really visual layout of what it is. And when you click on it, it will actually hyperlink to that particular course within it. So let's pop over to your learning technologies, which I use the hyperlink there, but I could have used the waffle or on the main page, the list of my courses. So this is your UVic learning technologies. We have a lot in here. As you can see, just kind of getting started, how to use the guide. This is in what we call new content experience. So you'll see in Brightspace, your course will look maybe slightly different in the content, depending on what the layout looks like. Again, navigation is fairly simple. I think most of us are familiar with this kind of user interface. Just kind of click through and you can kind of navigate within there. So there is your content. Course home. One thing I would make sure is make sure you're checking for announcements and for any calendar updates that are within there. Your instructor may or may not use those to keep you updated and support your synchronous sessions. In this particular content view, you can also see progress on each of the different content areas that are available to you. Grades are self-explanatory. It should list all your grades and what's in there, what did you get, what's going on. You can see I've completed nothing within this learning technologies within grades. So I have 0 grade, but you can see that I am missing a few things within it, which is also a good notification for you to kind of go through. Here is that class progress. It's also within the, like I said, within the individual course. And this gives you like a quick overview of everything that's within it. And then there are a couple of different things that I want to show you in here. There's obviously some groups and CrowdMark and a lot of different stuff. I'm not going to go into detail on those. But there are assignments. So again, Brightspace has kind of discussions, assignments, and quizzes are the big assessments that we have. And so assignments, again, you can see when an assignment's due, what the score is, whether you've submitted it or not, the due date that it's open, or end date if it's closed, those kinds of things within there, and you can kind of see your own history. Quizzes are essentially very similar. You will see current quizzes that are available. And then you can also see your own submission around them. To take a quiz, you literally just click on the quiz. And again, it just goes through, shows you all the details, any instructions that you have within the quiz, and then you would just hit start to start that. One thing I do want to show you is at UVic, we use something called Echo 360, which is a video platform for storing videos and content of the sort. There are two ways that you can kind of access it. What I would recommend, though, is doing it through Brightspace. You can go directly, but it doesn't create accounts correctly. So the very first time that you use an Echo video, either go to your course tools and Echo 360, and it will take you and sign you up. You have to go through a little bit of a sign up process, but that will land you in here. If you have any courses that are set up within the Echo, this is where they will show up. So you can see like I've got kind of one play space, but it would have all of your courses that your instructors have set up. The other option for accessing Echo would be off of your main landing page. So not within the course, but you can see right here that there's an Echo 360 media tab, and it takes you basically into the same kind of functionality. The only difference is if you do it through the course, it will land you first into the course material often. Library is all of your library stuff, courses are all your courses, and collections are essentially just kind of a filtering for libraries, and you probably won't have anything within your collections. And in your library, again, if you want to use Echo for yourself for recording, for a project or something like that, we have some better videos around that. So I'm not going to go through much of that, but you can do your own software capture and or upload media that you've created through some other form to be able to put in here and share. So this is our video hosting platform as you go through. I'll go back to the course. Bear with me here. Click, click, click. So that's Echo. The other tool that we have in here is Zoom, which again, we're all using right now. So most of you are familiar with it. We have Zoom integrated into Brightspace, and it's available there. There are also, this is where you might see class recording. So if you're doing an online course and your instructor is using Zoom, you may see the class start time and update and the meetings within there. That would be available through here. So there is that possibility. The other option is very much like the session that you're attending right now, that you are just given quite literally a Zoom link within it. When you do Zoom, please make sure that you are updated and you actually are logged in. So as I come over here, because I'm currently logged in, of course, because I'm presenting, but within this, you are going to want to go to Zoom. It will prompt you. When you go in, you just need to add in your netlink and go through. In this case, you do not need your netlink ID at uvic.ca. You literally just need, you got to go down and where it says single sign-on, and then you tell it to say UVic, and then it will send you to that single sign-on. Or if you've already signed on for the day and it's held that credentials, cached it, then it will automatically go in as it tries to do that process. It goes through. But so don't sign in using your email. You want to go in and make sure that you hit the single sign on. And the way that you can tell that you are not logged in is it will say that you are a guest within it. And often you get put into a waiting room as you were today. And you just want to make sure that you're actually signed in to the course, because most instructors will not let you in if you are indeed not signed into your course. So that's like a really brief Echo video platform. Brightspace is our learning management system. There's a lot in there. UVic Learning Technologies has a lot around this. Also, feel free to reach out to the computer help desk, and they will either help you or send you to us, and we will help you. So we have a lot to cover today, so I'm going to kind of stop there. Any initial questions, or we can also wait till the end? I know that was a whirlwind.
There was just one in the chat that I kind of answered earlier, Alex, but it was just, is it normal for Brightspace not to be showing any of your courses, even though you're registered? And we get this question a lot at the help desk. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that, Alex.
No, I think you've kind of covered it. So basically, most instructors will enable their courses the day of. And so I would, even if you are starting your term at the beginning of the terms, like September 3rd, which is a Tuesday, if your course doesn't start until the Thursday, it's possible your instructor won't enable it until a Thursday. In particular, like if you're a sessional, often you're hired very quickly at the end, you're building things and making sure you're wanting to put your best foot forward. But if you are in your first week and you are not sure, feel free to reach out to the computer help desk, or your instructor first would be a good place. Ask them if it's been enabled. Often instructors forget that they have to make their courses active. And so a friendly, hi, I can't see the course, sometimes is enough to kind of kick them into enabling it themselves. So yeah, don't worry that you don't see your courses yet within Brightspace.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for the question. Any other questions? But anything Alex covered, Brightspace, Echo, Zoom?
We
will have, oh, sorry, go ahead, Alex.
I was going to say, we have so many other technologies that are available to support you through your time. So if you don't know if something's available, reach out to us. But I'll hand you off to Kelly, who will go through our Microsoft tools.
Sweet, thank you. So yes, as Alex noted, I'm going to be talking to you about your UVic Microsoft 365 account. And so one of the most important things to note is that you do not have to purchase your own Microsoft license. So if you need to use Word, Excel, PowerPoint, you don't have to buy that. You get a free, you get it free with your UVic Microsoft 365 account. When I was a student, we didn't have this, so I had to purchase those applications. So I'm very pleased that we can now offer this for students. So I'm going to be going over how to access your UVic Microsoft account, some of the applications included, and then I'll kind of transition into your UVic email account, because that is also a Microsoft email account. And I'm going to finish with some information about some of the other things that might come into your UVic email account or other email accounts. And so those are phishing or scam emails. We unfortunately do see that UVic students are often the targets of these types of scams. And so I just want to give you some information to help you spot those, so to help keep you secure. Okay, I'm going to start sharing my screen. I'm kind of going to go from phase 1 here, which is just signing in. And so this is just uvic.ca. So to get to your Microsoft 365 account, you can access it from any web browser. You can type in portal.office.com. That's going to bring you to kind of an easier sign in. But if it's easier to remember, you can also just go to office.com. I'm going to put this in here if anyone wants to follow along. And Microsoft is always rebranding, so it might not be office.com forever, it might be microsoft.com, but they're always kind of changing what they're called. But you'll want to sign in, and Alex went over a lot of signing in with just your NetLink. So that's your UVic username. With Microsoft 365, you actually have to enter your NetLink at uvic.ca. And so I'm just going to put in a test one for now. But as long as you put in at uvic.ca, you should be able to sign in. And so we do see this sometimes, people unable to sign in, and it's because they're just entering in their NetLink ID. And Microsoft is a big organization, so they won't know what part you're trying to sign in unless you put the at uvic.ca. Oh yeah, your NetLink ID, it might be, this is just basically if you've ever signed into uvic.ca, that's what you signed in with. So it's probably going to be in some emails you've received. It would be the username that you created. So if you haven't signed in yet to uvic.ca, I would check your emails and just kind of search NetLink, and that should hopefully get you there. When you go to sign into office.com, you enter in at uvic.ca, and this the way you know if you're in the right spot is that this background will appear. And so this is UVic branding. This is a nice aerial shot of, here's Ring Road at the bottom here. So that's how you know that you're signing into the right place. I'm already signed in with an account, so I'm just going to show that here. You will be prompted to enter your multi-factor authentication. So we'll kind of talk about that at the end, but multi-factor authentication, you hear it sometimes called MFA or two-factor authentication, 2FA. You might have this set up for bank accounts already or social media accounts. If you don't have it set up already, I'd encourage you to do so. It just adds another layer of protection to your account so that if someone does get access to your username and password for whatever reason, maybe something got hacked, that got accessed, then the person trying to get into your account won't be able to because they won't have that additional factor. So we use an app on your phone. You can actually use any type of authenticator app, Microsoft, Google, if you're already using that. And it just provides that additional layer of security. Anyways, we're going to hop into office.com. And so when you sign in, this is what you'll be taken to. It kind of looks a bit bland, but you can go in and edit the theme if you want to have a nicer view. Important thing on this page is this little install and more button at the top right. So as I mentioned, you have access to all of the Microsoft apps like Word, Excel, PowerPoint with your UVic account, and you can install them on up to 5 devices. So you just press install and more and you can install them. This is really nice because there's sometimes a few more features in the desktop application, but also it means you can access these applications offline as long as you sync the files to your computer. So if you get to go away for a weekend, but you still have to write a paper, you can still access that paper even if you don't have internet for the weekend. A great question. Feel free to send a screenshot. It should be activated as long as you're registered in courses. That's when you kind of get access to a lot more features. But we can definitely look at that a bit later if you're encountering errors. So yeah, this is just kind of your landing page. To look at all of your Microsoft apps, you can click there's another little waffle icon here, and you can just go into more apps. So I've kind of talked about like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, just kind of your standard ones. There's also apps like this one is called Sway, and so you can create these reports or posters or newsletters. So you might need that throughout your degree. Visio allows you to create diagrams. So if you do need to include diagrams in lab reports or something, you can create them in Visio. Clipchamp is kind of a new application, new to us at least, and so it allows you to just make and edit simple videos. And then Whiteboard is really great for kind of brainstorming. So there's a few different apps, and I would encourage you to check them out. There's also like to-do and lists. So if you are wanting to, track your and kind of organize all your to-do items as you go through your semester, those are good apps to do that with. Adobe apps. So great questions, everyone. Thanks for asking all these questions. Adobe is not included in Microsoft 365. Unfortunately, we don't have Adobe for all students' devices. However, one other thing I'm going to talk about at the end is the different resources, including computer labs, where you can, we have drop-in computer labs where you can come in and use a machine. And we do have the full Adobe suite on some of those machines. So you can come in and use like Photoshop and Adobe Premiere and all of that. And we're open, those labs are open 7 days a week and are open till 11 during the week. So there is option to use Adobe, but unfortunately you can't get them onto your own devices. And Microsoft 365 is, available for Mac users as well. Sometimes there can be a few different issues because Apple and Microsoft don't always like each other in the same way. But if you do encounter any issues, you can contact the help desk. Another kind of big app you might be using with your Microsoft account is Microsoft Teams. And so Brightspace is definitely like the primary way that your instructors will be sharing information and getting you to communicate and collaborate. But some instructors also might use Microsoft Teams. So this is just another collaboration tool. I have this on dark mode right now, which is a little darker. Hope it's all good for people to see. And so if you come here, you might see a team for your class. So this might be where your instructor is posting content. They might be asking you to submit files through Teams. I don't think that happens as often, but they sometimes use it a lot for like discussion. With Microsoft as well, there's chat. So if you are doing kind of group chat or group projects, and maybe you can't connect in person all the time, using chat through Teams is a good option. The other thing you can do, and I don't have anyone to chat with right now, but you can have like video calls through Teams. The nice thing about Teams is it syncs well with all of your other Microsoft 365 applications. So, it's really easy to find your Word docs in here. And thanks for the update about the password. And yes, so that option to reset your password, that should push everything through. But yeah, happy to check in about that at the end. Kind of this almost final app I wanted to show you is your UVic OneDrive. Actually, two more. Microsoft OneDrive and OneNote. So OneNote is kind of a digital notebook. So you'll probably have when I was a student, I took notes in a variety of different ways. Sometimes I preferred paper notes. Sometimes I preferred just using like a Word doc. But Microsoft OneNote is just a digital notebook. So you can create as many notebooks as you want to have different sections, maybe for the different classes, and just kind of helps you be able to access this from anywhere. So maybe you forget your computer one time as you're coming to class, you can log into any of the machines at UVic and access your OneNote notebooks through here. Microsoft OneDrive is cloud storage. So right now it's up to 250 gigabytes of storage with your UVic OneDrive account. And again, this just allows you to kind of access your files from anywhere and on really any device. So Microsoft also has a bunch of mobile apps. So if you do maybe you're accessing, maybe you forget your laptop or you don't want to bring it, you can always access your files on your phone as well. Any questions about the Microsoft stuff I've covered so far? Okay. The other part of your Microsoft 365 account is your email. So everyone will have a UVic email. It will be your netlink ID at uvic.ca. You will have access to this email for the course of your time at UVic. And some instructors may want to contact you directly through your UVic email. This might be different than your preferred email, which you would see if you log into online tools at uvic.ca. Definitely depends kind of what you want to do. If you want to have your UVic email be your preferred email, this will ensure that you are less likely to miss some maybe important announcements from your instructor or from UVic. So depending on what your preferred email is, some types of email don't always like to see UVic email. So we do recommend considering having your UVic email as your preferred email, but it is not a requirement. I'm going to show you your UVic email now. So you can get to it if you go to office.com and you could navigate through and click on Outlook. You could also navigate directly to outlook.office.com And again, you could also access this on different mail clients. So on your mobile phones, the Outlook app works well, and then on your machines as well, the Outlook desktop app. And if you ever are, let's see if I can get this out of dark mode so that we're not as hard to see. Okay, here we go. Little easier. Yeah, thanks, Alex. That's a good point. So especially Echo 360, I think, works a lot better with your UVic email. You also have a calendar with your UVic email, which I'll go over into a moment. If you ever just want to download the app for the machine, I don't know if I'll be able to do it here, but maybe if we go to Microsoft Teams, there's usually options if maybe you don't want the full suite of Microsoft apps on your machine for some reason and you only want like Outlook or Teams, you can just usually download the specific app. Okay, going back into your UVic email account, a few things I want to share here. Actually, let's hop right into your calendar. So a bit of history for you all. Students only had access to a calendar in the last like 2 years. So when I was a student, we did not have a calendar. One thing that's really nice about the calendar is you can actually sync your UVic course timetable, your UVic course timetable into your calendar here. So we do have instructions on our website to do that. And then I think you can also sync up your Brightspace calendar with your UVic email calendar as well, so that if you do have upcoming assignments and quizzes through Brightspace, they will appear in your calendar. There's also a few different little apps here too. So there's this Microsoft To Do. So this is, I think I showed this a little bit earlier, but if you do want to kind of note all your tasks or maybe upcoming due dates, you can enter them in here and then just kind of have access to them. You can also set reminders. So if you did want to set a reminder for an upcoming assignment, maybe an essay that's due in 2 weeks, and by the next week you want to have a first draft written, you can set that up through here. Going back into your email account, so it operates very similarly to other email accounts you have. But a few things I want to show you, and this is going to kind of lead into our kind of the next part that I wanted to share, which is phishing and scam emails. So we can actually see some of the scam emails that this account has received. So I'll have different slides up for this later, but I just want to share a bit of information about phishing and scam emails. So you might have heard of these terms before, but a phishing email, and spelt PH, not F, is one that is trying to trick you into giving the attacker, so those are the people sending these emails, give them either information about yourself. So maybe this is your full name, birth date. Some attackers have asked for things like a copy of your passport, just sensitive information that you don't want shared. Some attackers are trying to get money out of you. So they might be asking you for your credit card information. They might be trying to get you to send money to them. And unfortunately, UVic is not alone in getting targeted. This is like students across the world get kind of targeted. But unfortunately, we do see people fall for these messages. Usually phishing and scam emails, they either are trying to offer you something that seems like really good. So we're going to go into like job scam emails, but they also might be trying to use like a sense of urgency and fear to get you to do something before you really think of it. So one of them that you might see, actually, I'll share this first and then I'll have screenshots. So this is an actual phishing message that came to this account. And this is a job scam email, and these have definitely been on the rise in the last couple of years. It's kind of interesting because I don't know if this is the same attacker, but we've seen this email come through like over the last year. Sometimes it's for a different job, but it's usually with a weekly pay of 750. And so a few things to be aware of if you see an email like this. One of them is to look who is what account is sending you this email. So can anyone maybe just use the chat to tell us why this email address might not match perfectly with the job that is supposedly being offered? It was a long question. One thing to look at, and this isn't foolproof because attackers can spoof emails, but we see that this email is coming from hey.net, which doesn't seem to, doesn't seem to tie with this UNESCO job. The other thing here is that, exactly, Asma. So it's not a UNESCO account, and they're actually asking you to contact someone at outlook.office.com. The other kind of thing to be aware of and kind of wary of is this like high rate of pay. So what we say is if it seems too good to be true, it usually is. So a weekly pay of 750 for a work from home position, that's a pretty high paying job. And as a student, you might not be making a lot of income. So having like seen an offer like that might be really tempting. But there's all these kind of clues that this might not be a legitimate email. In this case, I know it's not a legitimate email, but if I wasn't sure, and if you're not sure and you kind of want to learn more, what I would recommend doing is contacting the UVic Computer Help Desk. So you can email us at helpdesk.ca and just asking for more information or asking what we think. It's always better to ask than to act and then have to kind of follow up on it. Unfortunately, if you do end up sharing your info, once that is out there, it's kind of just out there, and there's not really a way to get it back. So it's always better to try to ask first. And then the other thing I'll note is that this happens all the time. People fall for phishing and scam emails all the time. It doesn't matter if you know a lot about this type of stuff and you're really smart, anyone can fall for this. So if you do end up giving information to attacker, please contact the help desk and let us know, and we can help you kind of mitigate as much as possible. If you do know an email is a scam email and you're in your UVic account, what you can do is actually report the email as phishing. And what this will do is send a notification to our information security team so that they can follow up and see if any other UVic accounts receive this email. And they might be able to remove the email from UVic accounts or follow up with any people who replied to the scammer. So by reporting phishing emails as phishing, you are able to kind of help protect other UVic students and then as well UVic faculty and staff. So I'm going to report this one as phishing. Let's see if there's any other. Yeah, I think that's all I'll show you because I do have other screenshots. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second so I can bring up my PowerPoint. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Okay, I'm going to share again. I think I have covered a lot of this, but yeah, we do have this link here. And so can I copy it? Maybe not. I'll just write it in. This is a blog on UVic's instance of WordPress called the Online Academic Community, which you all have access to if you want to create a WordPress site. And this blog is run by our information security team, and they post screenshots of real phishing messages that people at UVic have received. So that's another kind of tool in your toolkit if you do receive an email that makes you feel a little suspicious. Feel free to go check out the blog because it might actually have been posted about already. So the other type, another flavor, there's probably many different versions of phishing, but another flavor, as I kind of mentioned, are when attackers are trying to get you to give you their information by making you feel like there's urgency or you need to act right away or something bad is going to happen. So we see this a lot where attackers will say, and they'll pretend to be coming from UVic, and they will say that, we're going to disable your account if you don't verify your account right now. UVic is never going to send you that email. And so can anyone tell me what parts of this email, and the information security team has blocked out the email so we can't see that, but can anyone tell me what about this email looks a little suspicious? Yeah, notice. And then right after where it says final notice, it says or, so there is a spelling mistake there. Yes, hello user. So usually like professional organizations will not say hello user. What about, and this isn't one I have access to. So can anyone tell me what to do about links? How do you check to see without clicking on it if a link is going to the right place or the place it says is going to be going to? If this were a real email, exactly, Mirko, place the cursor on it. So if you do hover over a link, you can then see where it is going to. And so if this were going to anywhere other than uvic.ca, there would be a big problem. Sometimes what attackers will do is the start of the email is totally different, but then it will have like UVic at the end. So you don't want to be looking for that. You want to be looking for uvic.ca. And yeah, definitely urgency is a big one. Last and final notice. It's just trying to get you to not actually think and act. And you might be, depending on where you're at and how your day has gone, you might be really stressed because you have an exam coming up on Brightspace in 2 hours, or an assignment due in an hour. And so you might be really stressed that your account will be locked. But UVic is not going to do that, and always get you to take a step back and think about it for a minute. Also, the kind of ending here is a cordial greeting, WU, IT service desk with the little C. So UVic won't sign off like that. This is to say, this is not like the best phishing email I've ever seen. Some attackers are a lot more sophisticated, and with AI, they might be able to craft email messages that sound a lot more legitimate. So definitely, like, looking at the email address is huge, and then always just double checking if you're not sure. Yeah, another point about job scams. And there's different types of scams too. So we've also seen grand piano scams. So it's someone offering a big grand piano for free, just trying to get people to give information. But with job scams in particular, we've seen them impersonate like real UVic professors, and so real UVic instructors. So they'll be signing off by like a real UVic professor, but of course, and a really important thing is to look at that email address. If it is signed off by a UVic instructor that or maybe you don't actually know, but you've looked them up in the UVic directory, what I would do is try to contact the instructor through a different means. So their email, which would be their @uvic.ca email that's listed on the UVic site. That's a pretty safe place to go if you're not sure if the email is legitimate or not. The other thing that to just keep an eye on for these ones is that usually the attacker will try to get you to give them your cell phone number or a non-UVic email. And this is so that our information security team can't like track it. So if you are corresponding through your UVic email to a scammer, our UVic information security team might be able to block that so that the scammer can't actually contact you or you can't send email to them. However, if you switch to using a Gmail account, we will have no way to do this. And then again, if you reply to one of those messages, please just contact the help desk and we can get our information security team to help you out. This is pretty much the same one as we saw earlier. Again, you might actually see this exact email a couple times during your time at UVic. One thing that we have implemented is Microsoft has a few security features. So now it will try to check for like a safe link before sending you to a website. So if it is a known bad link, it won't get you there, but that just depends if Microsoft knows about it or not. So sometimes attackers use like just a Google form, simple Google form to try to get you to send information, and those won't initially be tracked by Microsoft. Okay, so what can you do to protect yourself? I'm going to get through these a little quicker. I've already talked about the fishbowl, which is where our InfoSec site posts screenshots of those phishing emails. We have phishing awareness training at uvic.ca/phishing, which you can take. And then the Canadian government has a really good website with lots of like great resources called Get Cyber Safe. And so we use this a lot. They keep it really up to date. Yeah. I talked about multi-factor authentication. I don't know if there's much more I need to cover here. If you have any issues with MFA, feel free to reach out to the help desk. And then uvic.ca MFA is where you can go to see kind of step-by-step for signing up for UVic MFA, and has lots of helpful resources if you are experiencing some issues. Last couple slides here are just where can you get help and some of the resources, and then we'll have a few minutes for questions. So I've mentioned the help desk a lot. The really great thing about the help desk, it is staffed. All of the people who you will contact initially, they're all students just like yourself. So we hire UVic co-op students every semester, and then co-op students might return kind of to work part-time at the help desk. So these students have like been in your shoes, have gone through, you know, their first classes just like you. And so they're really here to help you. We are open 7 days a week, and we can help you by phone, email, or in person. So the summer we have kind of shorter hours, but starting in September we will be open until actually 11 p.m. Monday to Friday, and then 10 p.m. on the weekends. We are located in the Clarihew building, which is beside the library. So if you're coming out of the main library and you're looking at the fountain, if you look right, that's the Clarihew building, and that is our location that is open 7 days a week. And so what we can help you with, basically all of your technology at UVic. So your UVic account, UVic email and calendar. So why is your password not working to sign into your Microsoft 365 account? We can help with that. Printing to campus printers. We're kind of the first point of contact for student Brightspace issues, but if we can't fix it, then we will pass it off to Alex's team to assist as well with Echo 360. Maybe I can click this. We do have computer labs, as I've kind of mentioned. So the question about Adobe, again, we do have Adobe on some of our computer labs. So you are welcome to come in and use them. This is kind of our labs page. And so we're located throughout campus here. So this is the Clarihew building. This is our library. We also have computer labs in business and economics building, so the Beck building, as well as human and social development. The other kind of thing that we have are project rooms or kind of study rooms. So These are located in Beck, and so if you want to book a room for kind of a group project, it's a really great place. It has a display, so if you have to practice a presentation. And then we have also a digital media studio. So this is like a recording studio. So if you are interested in doing anything like a podcast, you can come do it here. And then we have a VR studio as well. So quickly, resources for you. I think we will send this out. I think you will have access to this. And yes, we will basically share, I think, a bunch of links after the session, or Olivia will share them out. I can't remember how that works, but we will make sure you all have them. Okay, some questions, and then if we can have time for any other questions, we can do that. So unfortunately, there's no discount like through UVic, but for instance, Apple has like Apple education pricing. So sometimes you can get a little bit less for that. And then there are sometimes, not necessarily laptop, but for instance, I'm pretty sure like Spotify gives you a discount because you're a student. So there might be a few other ones, for instance, through Dell, but unfortunately, there's not right through UVic. But yeah, and thanks, Alex. Yeah, the computer store and the UVic bookstore does have devices for sale. Windows 10 going to have support. So it really depends, if your machine can support Windows 11. I think we're going to see this a lot with machines that don't support. My desktop at home doesn't support Windows 11, so I'll need to figure out a plan for that. Yeah, I would say the computer store is a good place to go to because they have a bit more knowledge of that. And yeah, as Alex said, they do like to keep the prices down. Yeah, I would say, Mirko, you can definitely, depends maybe on your devices. Sometimes Microsoft doesn't, oh yeah, great, Alex. Sometimes Microsoft, especially on Macs, might not always like multiple licenses, but definitely if you have like a Windows machine, you should be okay. And it sounds like it works well for Alex, so that's great.
Yeah, I actually have 3 accounts running and they just show up as separate accounts, and it gives you permission if you've got enabled for each product. It gives you the permission that is the most open. So if your UVic has more options, you'll get those more options based off the UVic account. Where it goes weird is when you leave UVic and you leave those permissions, you might go back to whatever your basic membership was or whatever your 365 that you paid for was.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. With our last 2 minutes, any other questions?